So let's get started. All right, so we are back. Fit's Health Conscious Corner, a show that we are talking about all branches of life's knowledge. Every week we are talking about a life topic, so something related to any aspect of life, and we hope to share insights and skills and build to be able to grow in health conscious living, and to grow as a community, to promote the well-being of each other, and to share insights and have open space to explore different concepts when it comes to health conscious living. So we are going to get started. So to recap, okay, so the last few weeks we've been talking about endurance as a superpower, and we've been breaking it down. Each week we're talking about mental endurance, physical endurance, emotional endurance, and spiritual endurance. So to recap, let's kind of sum up, what we're learning generally. What is endurance? What does it mean to endure? What it means is to persist, to continue on despite feeling pain, despite feeling emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. And we're going to talk about spiritual exhaustion and spiritual and ways that we face spiritual battles. Now, for the purpose of this show today, when I reference the term spirituality, what I'm talking about is belief. So, general belief overall, your connection to your beliefs about yourself, beliefs about your circumstances, beliefs about the vision in your life. So I'm talking about, when we talk about it spiritually enduring, I'm talking about belief pain. So the concept of belief pain. So what does that mean? Ideally, when we're feeling some resistance, or we're feeling discomfort in belief, what can that look like? Well, it can look like confusion, it can look like doubt, it can look like fear, it can look like anxiety, it can look like disbelief. So whatever you're believing in the outcome, in the circumstance, in your your future, just what's driving those beliefs. So at times when we are navigating life, we're going through various circumstances that require us to believe in something. So times where we might believe in something that's impossible, or believe in something that's never been done before, or believe in something new that you're trying out and believing that it's going to work out well for you, or believing that the outcomes are going to be what you expected, what you anticipated, and pressing on despite uncertainty, right? And so sometimes when we think about belief pain, we're dealing with those type of feelings. Sometimes that can come with anger. It can feel like you're being tested. It can feel like you're being challenged. Sometimes it can last longer than you anticipate that feeling existing. So today we're going to talk about our belief well. So what does that look like? Where do our beliefs, just the concept of where does our beliefs come from when it comes to the connection to ourself, so connection to the self, to the soul, and talking about conscious awareness. So where does what impacts conscious awareness? So the conscious part of the brain that stores memories, emotions, and experiences. And when we are connected to that, we might, so we have that conscious layer of the brain, right? So we are storing different experiences and emotions that have happened, and sometimes that can have an impact on our belief system. So that the layer of what becomes what we're consciously aware of, and then choosing whether to continue to believe in it, or are we, feeding more of the emotional mind without any logic, or are we trying to meet the emotional and the logical mind, connect it together, and we get the wise mind. So there's the theory, the concept in cognitive behavioral therapy, right? So the foundation of connecting the conscious, the logical mind and the emotional mind, and creating the wise mind, so that building that harmonious relationship between the two, so that we are promoting conscious awareness. And when we have conscious awareness, we can be more conscious of the beliefs that we accept and the beliefs that we promote and expand thoughts on. So let's talk about feeling discomfort, pain, where you're feeling pain in your soul, pain in your beliefs, where what you're believing in is you're facing adverse conditions and you're finding that you're doubting yourself more. Or let's talk about the fact that when we sometimes experience these difficult, heavy emotions, we can have a tendency to disconnect from ourselves. So disconnecting from physical awareness, disconnecting from mental awareness, disconnecting from emotional and spiritual, so soulful connections to ourselves, because we're just feeling that pain, and that all we can do is think about that pain, or just can't shake the feeling of not being used to that type of emotion, and then having to explore it and sit with it. So when we have belief pain, what does it affect? It can affect the belief in your outcome, the belief in your ability to succeed in something, your vision. So, when you have belief pain, sometimes, the way that you see your vision, there's some pain attached to that. And, you're not able to see beyond the moment. So seeing beyond the moment of that, persisting through the pain in still believing what you're believing, despite what it might look like. So despite, maybe all the no's or the support you're not being given, and continue to keep believing in what you stand for, or believing in what feels good and feels right and aligned with your soul, with your emotions. So I'm talking about emotions here, because and we've talked about this in the last few episodes, that these aspects of endurance, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, they all overlap. So there's an emotional connection to what you believe, right? When you experience emotions, sometimes that can influence what we believe, and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into that in a moment. But let's just talk about what other circumstances you might feel pain in what you choose to believe in. Is anybody going through that right now? Is there something that you believe in strongly, and you continue to work at it, and you're continuing to see an outcome and believe in a fruitful outcome, and you have just you're going through obstacles, and some things might not be working together, connections not being made, and you still need to carry out the task or carry out the belief because it's what's required, and you're feeling any difficulty in that belief? Is there anything you're going through that's causing you to fear an outcome, or to or is there any negative thoughts that you are feeling consumed by, that's impacting your belief in a positive outcome? Anybody, or you don't even have to be going through it. Just what kind of comes to mind when you think about enduring pain in your belief system, in what you're believing or working towards? Anyone have any thoughts or feels on that? So I'll just maybe throw some out there. At times when we go through that disconnect, the feeling of disconnecting from emotions, not wanting to experience, the reality of continuing to believe despite every no. I've been through, in the last few years, very transparent with you guys, and in the last few episodes, continuing to press on despite all of the no's, despite all of the obstacles when it comes to dealing with a rare cardiovascular condition, and to keep on pushing myself through a rehab and continue to keep believing that a treatment would be possible, a different outcome will happen in my body, that these past experiences won't be the same experiences that I'll continue to encounter. So I'll be very transparent, thinking like that, there's a big element of pain that comes with that, because believing in the impossible, believing in something that hasn't been done before, is very, very challenging, especially despite many complications. It does give you that feeling of like, am I believing, is it false belief, false hope? And I mean, this is where I really emphasize the choice that we all have in believing in a positive outcome or a negative outcome, because often we respond or react out of fear instead of responding in belief. So we always might tend to put ourselves down and think like, oh, that's never been done before, oh, that works well for that person, but it won't work well for me, without even trying, without even applying yourselves. There's a lot of emotions and feelings that I've gone through, and to days that I had to go through disbelief and be my own coach to build myself back up and continue to input positive dialogue in my mind. So, and I still have to do that every single day. So there might be some aspects of your life that you're going through that roads you haven't traveled before, or feelings you've never felt before, circumstances and situations that you've never faced before. And you have a choice whether to show up with the belief that there's going to be a positive outcome, or the belief that you choose that, it might not happen the way that you want, and you choose to give it negative thoughts. Now, there's also another aspect of believing when we check in with what we surround ourselves with. So there's a few things, because environments play a huge role on your beliefs. What will drive you, your relationships. So whether it's working relationships, social relationships, these relationships impact your belief system. So what I mean when I say that is where you share your passions, your ideas, your visions. If you're sharing those in a place that the people that you're sharing this with do not believe in what you're saying or believe in your ability to do it, and they're placing their negative thoughts and beliefs on you, at that point you might choose subconsciously, unaware, to believe the doubts and fears that they're placing on you. And you might decide after that conversation you're not going to pursue something, or because somebody else put their limits on you, or created a narrative for you, and that hasn't actually played out yet. So it's very important to be mindful when we talk about believing in things that haven't been done before, believing in something that's not an immediate response or immediate outcome, and you have to endure, so persist and keep going despite circumstances, despite what it looks like. There's different ways to tackle that. So what we just talked about is, checking in with your environment. Is it promoting your growth? Is it building you? Is it breaking you? So environment, relationships, personal relationships, working relationships, social relationships, where you're sharing your visions, your thoughts. Are you being well received and encouraged and inspired and empowered? Or are you being disempowered, broken down, maybe criticized? There's one thing, constructive criticism helps you grow, but when you're being criticized and projected on, that can also really impact what you believe. So a reminder here is check in where you're sharing your visions and your what you're believing in. Really observing what beliefs you take on. It's very, very, very important when it comes to your soul and your soul health, your emotional health, your connection to yourself, to your soul, to your spirit. A few other things, right, is just like that self-check on what are your thoughts and your beliefs, what are they doing, right? So are they in addition to other people in your environment, what is your own thoughts, your own dialogue saying to you? That's like very, very, very important to check in on and to catch yourself, so that your thoughts, they have a positive impact on what you choose to believe. So just reiterating that choice that you have to believe in a positive outcome and a negative outcome. And it doesn't mean that, circumstances aren't going to happen that aren't going to be something that you favor, but it doesn't mean you don't have what you need to get through it, or that rejection isn't a redirection, right? So that's one of a couple of those big concepts to grasp, right? So checking in environment, your relationships, your own dialogue. Is it promoting growth in your beliefs and getting you from point A to point B in a positive way to persist in pain? Or is it pushing you in a way that is leading you into, domino effects on negative behaviors? So you're just tumbling into negative consumed thoughts, behaviors that don't really build you up. They just put more doubt or distract you and actually get you not thinking about it. And the longer you put it off, the more that you get further away from believing in what you were believing in, and all of a sudden there's that feeling in your soul that you feel you're missing something, or you didn't fulfill something within you that you're strong about, you're passionate about. So really important to check in on that as well. You probably have heard, right? Like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So just understanding that your beliefs, they are contagious. So like you can bring your beliefs into, a group of people and empower people, or you can bring, beliefs that disempower. So just understanding that your beliefs carry a frequency. And when you look around and when you notice, what you're attracting, notice if it's positivity or you're feeding and thriving off of negativity, and notice how it's impacting your life, right? So these are the reasons why we're having these conversations, is so that we're creating more conscious awareness. And when we create more conscious awareness, we are able to live in a way that promotes health conscious living. So mentally, emotionally, soulfully, physically. How can I relate to that? I mean, Misfit Club community. So Misfit Club Cardiovascular, the community group that I founded almost 4 years ago. But we had started to really create this community. How did that community come about? Well, it's based on the motto, miracles happen every day. So it's based on promoting that belief, the miracle mindset, that you can see the miracles in every day, that you're creating your circumstances with positive beliefs. So even though 3-4 years I haven't been able to have a definitive answer on a treatment or an outcome, it's creating that belief that we create our circumstances, and that we're able to believe in miracles. I mean, like, I was born a miracle, and I was like, called this medical miracle, right? And I mean, like, I didn't understand what that really meant, growing up. I just heard that I was referred to in this way. So even though I felt like very disconnected from myself during different times that I've experienced complications or major surgeries, and, I really felt like drawn away from myself, I was able to come back to the understanding that I can't change that fact even if I tried, right? So I know that I've survived against all odds. I've come this far against all odds. I'm still going, right? So I can't believe in the opposite, that nothing's going to happen, that I'm not going to create new circumstances and create something that's never been done before. If I believe in the opposite, then that's where the energy is going. I have a choice, right? So I've chosen to create an environment and a mindset that promotes the miracle mindset, the create your circumstances, the persevering against all odds, even when you can't see the end of the tunnel, that you continue to keep going because your belief system is equipping you to believe that anything is possible, despite what you are familiar with, despite what anyone's told you, despite how you feel in those moments of heavy emotions and, anxiety or disbelief or pity or, just really self-consumed in negativity, that there's something bigger than that what you're going through, the adversity you're going through, is there to help build you. And it's not only just helping to build you, it helps to build you and those around you and those connected to you. Because why? Because your energy, your beliefs, is a frequency, and that is going to attract like minds. It's going to attract your community, your social circles, the work that you do, right? And it's going to allow you to feel more fulfilled in your soul. So that's what I'm talking about in soulful and endurance, is that ability to go through hard emotions, go through difficult circumstances that challenge your beliefs, and for you to continue to press on, continue on in purpose, continue to lay the course of action that you see for yourself, because vision is so important in what you believe in and the power of choice. So, if anyone has any comments, just feel free, drop it in the chat. This is the last week that we are going to be chatting and breaking down endurance as a superpower, but in more episodes to come, we're still going to keep expanding on these topics in different ways and breaking down, different perspectives, approaches, different situations that we all might go through and be able to relate to, feelings, strategies, ways to endure, and keep on living health consciously. So just, to wrap up, what are a few ways that we can continue to endure? And when we've talked about in this series about coping strategies and positive ways to endure. All of these ways to endure are all transferable, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So, if you have a few moments, if you want to explore some of the other episodes, and, they'll be up and available for you to check back into, to rewatch, to remind yourselves of these strategies, these tools, these perspectives. So stretching perspective really, really does help create more conscious awareness, because when we have more information and knowledge, we have more awareness, more perspective. So, another way, just quickly, is like breathing practice, right? Many of you that I know in this community, we might have practiced yoga together. And so building that breathing practice has been a big way for me to connect back to myself. So my inner being, my physical body, my emotional aspect, my soul, my core, right? So breathing is that as a way, it's a channel for me to connect back with myself. Taking those moments to slow down, to rest, to check in on my thoughts, to make sure that environments that I'm in promoting, the beliefs that I have, that they're encouraging, that my habits, my thoughts are creating positive habits, and that the habits, the dialogue that I'm reciting to myself is helping me it promote good beliefs and empower my beliefs rather than break myself down. I am human. I've gone through it as well, and I still go through it every day, because we're human. We're going to go through doubt. We're going to go through fear, right? So these are tools and perspectives that we can use and continue to use with us throughout our lives, because breath, we have it with us all the time. Conscious awareness, we're constantly creating that. So you just being here right now shows that you're willing to grow in conscious awareness, and you're willing to expand your mindset and the dimensions of your mind and your emotions and your physical aspect, just to grow and to be able to endure, to last. So what does endurance mean? It means to last. It means to continue on despite feeling fatigued, despite those obstacles, despite uncertainty. It means to keep believing and lasting in what you're doing, what you're creating for yourself, your vision. When you might hear when people say, the inner work, I'm doing the inner work. The inner work is just this. It's your beliefs. And it means that you're giving yourself that belief system tune-up. So you're really allowing yourself to connect back, to observe, and to keep doing what feels, difficult for your growth, to get to the other side, because there is another side of what you're enduring. You're just going through those motions in a positive way, rather than in ways that make you doubt yourself, break yourself down, and shift you off track. So this is just that reminder here to keep growing in purpose, to keep showing up, to keep laying your course of action, and to continue on despite feeling resistance. Keep pressing on. I hope you all got something from this today, even if it's just that reminder to keep believing. This is that reminder. Keep building yourself up with positive beliefs, and take moments to deconstruct your belief system, so that you can weed out what is not helping you grow, and put in and nurture and cultivate what is helping you grow. So whether it's environments, relationships, thought patterns, your habits. So just really checking in on that. It's that reminder for you. Thank you all so much for being here. Happy Friday. Thanks for readjusting this week again. I really, really appreciate all of your love, your support. connection through this community. I really look forward to being here every week with you all. So thank you for showing up. Does anyone have any thoughts, any feedback, anything that you want to drop in the chat before we head out? Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you for sharing some of your evening, your time with me. Thank you for being open to these perspectives and continuing to promote your own health conscious living by doing what feeds your soul, your physical, your emotional, and your mental wellness. In conscious light and love, we will connect.